Hey, hi all. My name is Satish and welcome back to my channel. So today we will going to learn, jQuery bind and unbind methods. What is the use of it and why jQuery introduced this method? And can we use this method in jQuery's latest version or not? We will learn all of this and the different variants of bind method as well. But before that, if you're not new to channel, please hit subscribe button and hit the bell icon and choose all option from there so that you never miss any new updates from this channel. So let's start here. I'll just remove all of this and let's comment out this so that you can see the this card. I'll open the console window. So what is mean by bind, right? So bind actually attaches one or more event handlers for the selected elements, right? So in JavaScript, if you guys know, right, so we have add event listener and remove event listener. But the advantages of using bind over add event listener or remove event listener, right? You can add or attach multiple event handlers at the same time, and you can remove multiple event handlers at the same time using unbind method, right? So we will understand first like the attaching the simple event handler. So I have this button over here. I'll give a ID to it, btn bind. Okay. So let's select this button using the ID. So for ID, we will use hash, right? So this is a click event handler. I'm actually attaching it. So as you can see, if I console log this, it will print me this test once I click that button. You see, I click this button and it is actually printing test, right? The disadvantage of using this way is actually once you attach a click event handler for this button, right? So it will be tightly attached to this button, right? So but if you use bind over this attachment, right? So what it is doing, it is attaching directly to the button element. But if you try to use bind over this, right? So let's use bind. I'm using the same ID selector, right? So you have a facility to add multiple elements to the same element, multiple events to the same element, right? So we will understand adding first only one event first, and then we will understand how we can attach multiple events, right? So I will put the same thing over here, and as you can see there is no difference. The click event is attached to this btn bind. So now the second variant of it is actually we can do the same thing using we are attaching multiple events right now. Okay, so this is click, then space, mouse enter event, and space, then mouse leave event. Okay, so now if I hover on this, it will print me test. If I click again, it will print test, and if I leave again, it will print the test, right? But here we have in this case we are not able to find out which event is getting fired, right? So for that we can make use of this event parameter. So we can add conditions like e.type if it equals to click, then print test, or maybe we can use click right? And else if e dot type is equal to mouse enter, then console dot log mouse enter, and else if e dot type double equals to mouse leave, right? So what we can do, we can console log mouse leave over here. Okay. So what we are doing over here, so we are actually identifying which event has been called, right? Or what is the user's action, right? So it can be determined by this type attribute of event object, right? So now if I hover on this, it prints mouse enter. If I click, it prints click. If I leave the button, it will print mouse leave, right? So we are able to find out what kind of event is getting fired, right? So now let's comment this out. And there is another, like again, like there is a disadvantage using this. We are actually using the same callback function for all of these three, right? For all of these events. But what if we can have a separate callback function for each event, right? So that could be very much easy for us, because in that case we don't need to add conditions, right? So we already know that based on this user action, this callback function will get invoked, right? So for that, what we can do, right? So for that, there is another parameter of bind method, which is a map, right? So we can make use of that map parameter for adding multiple events and adding multiple callback handlers also. So now for that, we need to pass an object, right? So inside object, we need to give key value pairs. So first key would be click, and then the colon and its callback function, okay? And then comma, we can give another event, that is mouse enter, then function, right? And at last, after giving comma, we can give another event, and which will have this callback function, right? So what I can do now, I can just console log, I can put this console logs in each callback function so that you could understand the result. The result will be the same only, but the syntax is different, right? So we are using map parameter of bind method, okay? So you see, mouse enter, mouse leave, mouse enter, click, mouse leave, right? The same is happening over here. So now we have understood, right? So this is all about bind, right? So bind has first parameter as an event, second parameter is data, so that we will look in a bit. Second parameter is data, the third parameter is a function, and the last parameter is map. So we have looked into first parameter, we have looked into the third parameter, we have looked into the last parameter, that is map, right? So this is also map. So we can you can use this map with this syntax as well, right? But now what if I want to pass some data, right? So for that, let's understand how we can pass the data. I will comment this out. Hash btn bind, then bind method, click event handler I will attach, right? For data, I need to pass it as an object or a string, anything I can pass, boolean values, array, anything I can pass, right? So I am passing the object. F name would be learn, L name can be lift, right? And then a callback function I am using over here. So inside callback function, we'll have a reference of event, right? So to read this data, we can use event.data parameter. Okay. So we can make use of event.data. So this data parameters contains this data, right? So now if I click on this, it will give me this data, right? You can see. So we have learned all of these parameters for the bind method. We have understood the bind, all variants of it, right? So this is the simple attachment of event on the button, and the advantage of bind, using bind on over it, actually, we can attach multiple event handlers. We can attach multiple event handlers with multiple callback functions as well using map. And then at last we can pass the data as well, right? So these many advantages are there, you know on this attaching click event handler directly on the element. So now what I need to do, I need to unbind. So we have binded this click event handler for this button, right? So what I need to do, I need to unbind whatever is binded to this bind button. Okay. So what I can do, I can take a reference of this button, btn unbind, and I will bind it. Okay. Since I don't need to bind multiple events, so what I can do, I can just add a click event handler on this, right? Call a a callback function, and then btn bind dot unbind I can use, and I need to pass the event name, which event I need to unbind, right? So I'll refresh this. Now you can see the learn lift is getting printed because it has a click event handler. So if I unbind it, right? So I have clicked on unbind button, and if I am actually clicking the click button now, you see nothing is happening because the binded click event for this click me button has been unbinded. Okay. So who has unbinded it? We have unbinded it using the unbind button. Okay. So this is how unbind works, right? So this is all about bind and unbind. I hope you like the video. If it is so, then you can like the video, and do not forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon. And from bell icon option menu, you can click the all option from there so that you never miss any new updates coming from this channel. Thank you all. Let's meet in next video.